It's recording.
We're having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
All good. That's what these are for. Work out all the glitches.
Yeah.
Where's
Say something again.
What was that?
Let's clean out of this as well. Hang on.
Okay. I told you earlier.
That's better.
Jumping on this tonight with Ryan. We're going to be talking about law versus legal. Like, most people are just going to sit on Facebook scrolling. They don't want to learn.
I might just put out a quick memo on Facebook.
Yeah. Cool. And I did chuck it up in Fight Back Club and hit the tag. So those that have downloaded, hopefully they see it. Yeah, you're not going outside, bro. Not happening. Thought your brother was there.
Just pull up the discussion sheet.
Oh, frickin' sore today. I had my first go at trimming. Yeah, no, I had my first go at trimming horses' feet yesterday.
No, yeah.
And it's hard work, man. Yeah, wiped myself out. Because it's the only thing I've never been taught. I know everything else about horses except for how to do their feet. So, yeah, it was good to learn, but today I'm wrecked.
Yeah, I'm still healing a little bit.
Yeah, I bet. Smash it.
I can straighten my arm
pretty
now,
good.
which is good.
But thank goodness. Oh, cool. I was going to say, thank goodness for plant medicine, because otherwise the body would be 10 times sorer.
Yes.
Oh, jeepers. I am not 40. I am still 20.
Yeah, I don't take pharmaceuticals, so I just deal with the pain.
Yeah, no, I'm the same.
Well, do you want to start even without anyone?
Yeah, I'm fucking sweet. I'm okay. I want to discuss and see what you've come up with, because I haven't looked at anything today. I've pretty much had the last 2 days off, to be honest. So, yeah.
Alright. I'm going to change my script up because there's only one of us. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to Jess, to the Honoraries of Veracity Inaugural video meeting. We gather here in truth and in divine law, affirming our standing as living men and women. This review of knowledge gained. Over the past few months, we've built a foundation together. Let's briefly review the main pillars of what we've learned. Honourable natural law versus fraudulent legal system. Natural law is higher than statutory constructs, and law should reflect the utmost truth and morality. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, 100%.
Jurisdiction. Jameson showed us there are two main domains, statutory and equitable. Our task is to avoid being tricked into statutory domain and to stand in equity, where conscience rules and prevails. So that one's pretty important for everyone to get their heads around. That magistrates are bound to statutes, but they have to recognise equity if it's framed properly. They ignore common law if you don't frame it in equity. Any comments on that, or?
Yeah, I agree. But I also know from what I've learnt from Drew so far is that they will recognise you more as the standing of the living and working with common law. As I said, get yourself off the electoral roll, make yourself power of attorney, and declare your status. Because through the contracts, whether we believe in them or not, we are not recognised as that one, as you say, with that common law factor that they should recognise.
Yep.
Like even that word, recon the guides, I can't remember the actual breakdown. Really interesting word to use in
Recog.
Recog, yeah. There's a lot of English spells that we must really start to grasp and use well.
Yep.
When we start to challenge them on their jurisdiction and you know what they're really up to. And it's all words, but
Sorry, I was trying something with the audio.
It's a lot to take into because they've actually pardon. No, it chopped out there. No, yeah. No, we're back.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
It went all glitchy.
All good. What were you saying?
Okay. I was just saying, it's the level of spells because from what I've learned and studied, when you go back through to when they created the canons and the maxims and the derivatives even of Latin words and where they really do go and tie these things all together, it's about 5 different languages.
Yep.
Give or take. I'm pretty sure. It's like German, French, Latin. I want to say Italian, but I could be wrong. Something else. Was it Russian? No, I don't know. I have to go back and listen to it. But yeah. And then from there, English has come to me. But it goes right back when you've got to go back into the very core of what these spells are. Yeah, it's quite awesome to listen to and learn. And I highly recommend Frank's work, Franco Collins. He was very much an eye-opener for how much they spiritually adhere to it. And that you are literally a wizard.
So with the documents, what's your thoughts on all the documents? You said then it's not really important when we don't have the numbers behind us, yeah?
Yeah. That's the definite. That is a definite. We can't. It doesn't matter what documents they are. It's all down to intention. So if your intention is this is me, this is what it is, this is what it means to me, then so it be. But as you say, you need all the numbers behind what resonates. And for myself, what I love about Tessa is that you can have whatever paperwork, what you adhere to, whether you're on the ship, off the ship, tied to the ship, and still partake in the assemblies. Because like we're such a mixed bag. I can't ever see us adhering to one rule with all of this.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, that's why it should be self-governing, shouldn't
I
it?
think that we are. Yeah, that's what it is. Like that's the level I'm getting to with all of this. It's just literally, yeah. You just do you know, do unto others, love thy neighbor, and then show that as you know, as we do what we're going to do. I don't know, as yeah, we've just got to come together. That's the thing. We've got to find a way to come together locally. So yeah, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think the documents are necessary to do to correct your status and standing, but it's not going to work properly unless we get the full numbers of people behind it. Because they've got all these tricks and shit, and I don't know, unless we can hold them accountable with numbers, they're just going to kick the single guys down, as you've seen. These documents.
It's really not true.
I can't really talk much on trusts yet because I'm not well versed on
it. Well, trust, it just comes down to how good it is. I got talking to someone through Tessa, this dude called Wade, and he went and learned about trusts from I can't remember, he's like a law scholar or something, like he was full on, this guy. And it cost about 10 grand to get a trust built through him. But apparently his level and his knowledge, and because he's the one that taught Wade, and Wade's currently part of the Tessa community, and he's been going into court and challenging them. He's a very smart man, and he's running the litigation for them. And he knows a lot about that, a lot about trusts and how they're set up, because the trust is as good as its paperwork. Because it's the only, and as I say, there's only one trust court in Australia that actually takes this on. So it's as good as you can write it. That's what I've learned about them.
Well, from the research I've done.
As good as you can make it. So to challenge it you do not pass go. Game of wits, I think, is the real core of it. And because you use the AI quite cleverly, I will say, Ryan, I'm quite impressed with what you do, Ro. Takes a bit to build that kind of relationship with them,
Yeah, you gotta actually program it.
Yeah, hard out. And I just don't have the energy for it. And those that are, like, I know a few people that are, I'm like, yeah, cool. Teach her what we want it to know.
Well, the research I've done with trusts, I found out you have to have an irrevocable private trust, which cannot be penetrated by statute. And then you have a revocable trust inside that irrevocable trust. So you have leeway to change things around if they change the laws over here, and you can change it to adapt to that. But if it's just an irrevocable trust, you can't change it. It stays like that. So there's things like that you've got to take into factor.
Cool.
And then you've got to have different trusts for each different things, like a business trust, family trust, property trust, and all that sort of thing. practical applications and strategies. If challenged in court, the first move is jurisdiction. Never assume they have it, make them prove it. Use the documentation like notices of standing, conditional acceptance, and affirmations. Make sure it's on the record. Don't make an affidavit. Swear no oath. Because that's an important one. You shouldn't swear an oath because even the Bible says not to swear an oath. So instead, just make an affirmation. Address the judge as trustee. That's something that Drew told me.
Yeah. Well, that's what they are. They're the administrator of your trust, and you've got to take hold. You've got to become the
fiduciary duty.
Correct. And so you've got to become the one that executes it, but you are the benefactor of it, or benefactor, excuse me, of it. But you can't sit in the role of executor. You've got to, it's tricky. It's all a game of words and how you execute them. The biggest thing with all of it is your energy. Like, that's the other thing that I learned from Drew. You know, he takes the approach of, excuse my language for those that can listen, get fucked. Like, he literally walks in there like his shit don't stink. It's the only way to describe it. He is so alpha when it comes to it that he steamrolls them before they have the chance because of his presence and how he holds himself. It's impressive, you know, and you've got to have that kind of courage to go in and deal with some of them, because some of them are right freaking twits. Some of these magistrate and judges, he said, you're just like, what are you doing? Like, no. But then there's the other approach that I was talking to Brian about today. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Where?
Sorry, I'm muting myself while you talk, or else it double speaks.
Okay, no, that's all right. My daughter just came to tell me something. Excuse me. Now I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, yes, the female approach. So I was talking to Ryan today, and I was sort of saying, you know, like, it's interesting how there's no female auditors or that energy, that softer side, that love side, that truth, that way our souls do truly like to talk to each other going on. And like the other day, I found that video of that guy who got done for a stop sign and got off it through using scripture because of where his heart was. You know, it was pretty cool to watch. I was like, that's surreal right there. And yeah, just showing that other side, that true heart, you know, not trying to connect with them. I know it's weird, but that's the way I see myself doing it, you know, when I actually have the opportunity and have got the courage to start doing these things, because, yeah, it's going to take a lot of courage, and I can't use the brute force approach. I have to find a way to use my wits and, yeah, just be really on the game and really polite, like that other video that I posted with that guy and the cops are badgering and he's just going, no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. And just, yeah, trying to ground more of that into it, as opposed to watching like these other auditors that I watch, and they're just, it's got too much of that rah going on still for me. I feel like we need to be more real with them. You know, they've got children.
Yeah, there is a few of them out there that are just too rude about what they do. And it's like, come on, be a bit more professional. It is interesting to see that there's no women out there doing it.
Yeah, it's something that's hit home pretty big. I'm like, yeah, it'll be a whole nother ball game. because
It
they
would
won't
be.
know what to do about that, because, you know, a lot of them will have wives and mothers, and that energy, they'll be just like, oh, well, I can't actually, you know, can't do this. It's a bit hard. This lady's a very nice lady and I really don't want to give her a ticket, but she reminds me of my sister, or, you know, something like that. Just to try and...
Can I jump in here? It's Tara Lady on the Gold Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Nice to meet you guys. I've actually been doing this for 4 years. I'm actually going to court tomorrow. It's probably my 8th, 10th, 12th time going to court. And I've had 40 plus interactions with cops. I've had cops trying to follow me onto private land and arrest me, and I've got them to go away. I got kind of blindsided. I accidentally was going into a festival last year, just over a year ago, and didn't realise they had a hidden RBT. And as I was directed into it, it was only me. There were no other witnesses or anything, and 14 armed cops, and I still stood up to them and didn't give them jurisdiction, et cetera, et cetera. So there are some of us doing it. It's just I don't plaster it everywhere, and I kind of been working on my own because I think it was you, Jess. I'm not sure who was speaking, but saying it's about energy. It's huge on the energy, and I just I'm very much in my masculine though. Don't worry, I have to be because the cops, you can try and talk to them nicely, you can try and talk to them quietly and respectfully, but they're trained to bully you, etc. Yeah. So I just feel like there is someone here that is doing it. Just not a lot of us, I guess.
That's right. We're going to build on this and we're going to create it, and it's going to happen.
Yeah, we need more in the mainstream though, like coming out in the social media with videos.
Yeah, hard out.
Yeah, I did actually put a 12.5 minute up on Facebook just around 2 years ago. I think on the 27th of August, 23, where the cop followed me onto private land and tried arresting me, and I told him not, and he left. But some of the other times I don't think pulling my phone out to record or whatever. It just doesn't happen. But, I mean, I've done a little bit, but I'm not saturating social media with that. So, yeah. But I also don't want to false advertise. I'm sort of trying to find a nice way through this in honour that is then able to be replicated by others.
That's right.
I'm practicing, so rather than trying to put pressure on everybody by saying, well, this is what I'm doing, and then it being not successful, I'm just practicing myself, and once I find a certain way through, then I'll share it with everybody.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a bit transparent about my dealings, so if I stuff up, then I'll mention that I've stuffed up and this is what I've done wrong and how to rectify it, and then people learn from my mistakes, which is good. But yeah, that's the experience.
Sorry, don't get me wrong. I've done workshops and I've helped a lot of people, and I've said to them, I don't know if that will work. I've done that didn't work. I've done that. I just haven't put it up on social media, I guess. I don't have I have an aversion to social media.
Oh, you sound a lot further into it than most, so that's a good thing.
Been doing it for 4 years. I feel I'm actually excited for court tomorrow. When I went, or was it 2 years ago, on one of the matters that I presented for, I actually had a judge step down and leave the courtroom. Yeah. So, and then he kicked me out twice. He had the security guards escort me out once, and then the cops the next time. So I'm kind of keen to go back and sort of just practice and see if any of the new stuff that I've come across is successful.
So what's your approach going to be?
So like I said, I've been doing this for 4 years. So I revoked my license and registration 3.5 years ago. I put Queensland Police Service on notice and Transport and Main Roads. When they tried taking me to court, I had 2 different matters. So when I say I'm being very loose with my language because we're here, not so yeah, 2 different courts. And I practiced. I wanted to do one with like higher jurisdiction lawful remedy, and another matter in a separate court. I was using all of their acts and legislations and their procedural rules. And the one using their procedural rules and everything, I lost. Like straight up, they just barreled over me, did whatever they wanted to do. And the one where I took the lawful approach, the first one I turned up to, they asked for the name, and I just said, "Are you after the woman or the name?" And then they asked again, and then I'm like, "Are you after the living woman or the trust?" And then they asked again, and then the prosecutor said to the judge, "Oh, you don't want her in your courtroom, do you?" And he said no. So that was the first time they escorted me out. I adjourned it for a month. When I went back the second time, instead of asking for permission to come on board, I just said thank you for the invitation, and I stepped up to the dock. And that's when I just said to him, like you just said earlier, his jurisdiction, he was rattling off, and I just said, well, I want to know as a living woman, what law are you applying today? And he rattled off the legislation. I said, no, that's a legislation. I'm a living woman. So again, what law are you administering today? And I just repeated that 3 times, and he left the courtroom. Having never done it before, I didn't actually know that's what was working. I had all these other things that I was going to try. And now I see in hindsight, he'd reset the court, and when he came back in, I needed to do something else, but I didn't know that at the time. So I just started doing that again. And then he said he'd put me in court for put me in jail for perjury. And then I just said to him, "Are you threatening me?" And then he had me escorted out by the police. So I'd already sent like conditional acceptance notices and requesting, evidence and things like that before those matters or those appearances. Presentations. I've got to get the language. Presentations. So after I was escorted out that afternoon, I rang a couple of hours later and asked for the determination. They said it hadn't been decided yet. And this was for driving unlicensed, unregistered, displaying fake plates and uninsured. So I rang the next day. It still hadn't been decided. The next week, it still hadn't been decided. So I kept ringing every couple of days for 3 weeks, and because I wanted to know what was being done. I now know in hindsight, if I had not kept calling, it would have just disappeared. But because I kept calling, and after 3 weeks, I talked to an operator who said he'd been working for the Supreme Court. He'd never known it could be 3 weeks to determine on a simple unlicensed matter. He said to leave it with him and he'd get it sorted. And he came back and he said, no, she's been found guilty of driving without a license. That was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Then in May, so I just, like I said, I revoked my licenses and registration, so I still kept travelling. So that was 3 years ago. Then 2.5 years ago, travelling in my private automobile, a cop followed me onto private land, tried to arrest me, and I just kept asking for his identification and told him that I was a living woman. And it went, like I said, 12.5 minutes. That's on Facebook. He eventually left and didn't come back. And then last May, I was going into a festival, like I said, and I got caught going into a hidden RBT. Again, as they pulled up, they said random breath test, blah, blah. And I said, look, I don't fall under your jurisdiction. I've already put Queensland Police Service and Transport and Main Roads on notice, but I'll agree to your breath test because I don't want the situation to escalate, and I want you to know that I'm not a risk to everybody else on the road. So I did that, and then they were like, turn your car off, get out. And I just said, no, you don't have jurisdiction over me. Like I said, I was the only one there. There were 14 of them armed, no witnesses. They eventually dragged me out of the car, fined me. They didn't arrest me, but they said I had to go to court because I failed to comply, unregistered, unlicensed, uninsured, displaying fake plates. Because of the amount of times I'd already had interactions, under their rules and regulations, they should have impounded the vehicle, the automobile, and they should have actually, taken it. But I also had my fee schedules, my trespass notices and everything in the vehicle with me, the automobile, and gave it to them, told them they were on notice. Again, I'm just practicing. So more notices, conditional acceptance. I also then I'd registered my birth certificate by special deposit with births, deaths and marriages. Have you guys done that?
Special deposit.
Yeah, so it's like when you go into a bank and you deposit $5, you can give them and put $5 in, and then when you go back and get $5 out of the bank later, it can be any $5 that they give you. But if you do special deposit, when you put it in, it means that they have to hold that specific deposit, that specific $5, and when you want it out again, they have to give you that specific $5 note back. So by lodging the original birth certificate by special deposit with the Births, Deaths and Marriages Registry, I was severing the surety of my body with the straw man, the all caps name, whatever you want to call it. So I'd done that, and I'd sent off notices to the magistrates court. I told that they're on notices, that I'd rebutted all presumptions and assumptions. I'd sent off fee schedules and all that sort of stuff. And so when I presented my special presentation at Ipswich Court, they'd already had my notices and everything like that. And I again stepped up to the dock to do what I was going to do, and unbeknownst to me, a guy that was there who was only supposed to be a witness decided he would step up to the dock next to me. And once that happened, the prosecutor and the magistrate just went complete nuts, and the magistrate or trustee would not listen to absolutely anything that I said, and started threatening us with being arrested and thrown in jail and all that sort of stuff. After we left, I realised by this guy stepping up, when you step on over the bar, you're stepping onto a ship. So I realised by this guy stepping up, he hadn't even talked to me about it, he just did it. He was committing piracy by getting onto the ship without asking permission, and then sitting down at the dock next to me meant that I was harbouring a stowaway or, an accessory to piracy or whatever. And that's kind of sort of threw that matter out. Things have sort of gone backwards and forwards, and because they threw me out, they actually adjourned it for a month and a half later, and I've got a photo of it being on the daily law list. But when I didn't turn up and I got entering, they actually had issued a warrant of arrest for the strawman name 15 days after that initial court presentation, and I think it's because of what he did. And so I just done more notices and things like that, and kept sort of trying to find other ways.
You're out now.
Sorry? And then two weeks ago, I was just travelling. They were actually looking for a woman that had kidnapped a son. And so they were stopping traffic and checking ID, and they just got me by chance. They asked me for license, and I said, well, living woman, I don't have one. And they said, well, do you have a license? I said, well, do you want the truth? And I said, well, I can't agree to being something that I'm not. I'm a living woman. I'm not an all capitals name, so I can't give you that. Anyway, they were standing on the road. There was nowhere for me to go, so I pulled over, and I knew that they were just going to force jurisdiction. So I just said to them, it's under duress. I don't agree with this. You're kidnapping me. You're committing assault, depriving me of my liberty. So I did all the stuff, and they put me in the watch house for 6 hours, and then they let me go. And when I've talked to somebody else, they said, no, it was 2 arrest warrants, because the guy that tried following me onto the land, because I wouldn't agree with him, he actually went and got an arrest warrant. So there was 2 arrest warrants. And I was told that I should have been kept in jail all weekend until I was presented to a magistrate, but they let me go. So that's what court tomorrow is about. But for them to have let me go without seeing a magistrate after everything that I'd done, and that there were 2 warrants for the arrest out, something that I've done has kind of worked. I don't know what exactly. So that's why I'm kind of excited about going tomorrow, because I'm going to try a few other things. I have again sent in another notice with fee schedule attached. And do you guys know about tacit agreement and acquiesce?
Yep.
Yeah. So in the fee schedule, in the notice, I just said to them, it's going to be taken as your acquiescence and tacit agreement to my fee schedule if you display the all capitals name on daily law lists or call the name out to be heard, the matter to be heard. So I'm just in the process of typing up the notice in preparation that they will have done that, so that while I'm there, I'll present them with the order to pay, and that's about stepping in and taking litigation against them, which is the next step for me. I've got to learn how to do that. So that's it.
Well, that's a good story. You're doing well.
Thank you. But yeah, there's been lots of curves there, so I don't know how much you know or what you've done, but I've learned a lot about paperwork, but there is so much out there, everybody doing so much. It's hard to know what's going to work and what not, but it does come back to energy. I think it comes back to energy.
Intent, 100%. It does not matter what that paperwork is. Like Drew's paperwork, you can add on to it.
Yeah.
So as soon as they roll in the next thing, the way he's got it set up, you can add on to it, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, right.
And
that's awesome.
he's got everything lodged with the court, everything. So they know who he is.
Where are you guys all from? So I know that I don't know your names. Sorry.
I'm Ryan. I'm from North
Queensland, up near Port Douglas.
Jess.
And I'm Jess. Yeah, I live in Emerald. I run Fight Back Club. And now wanting to do more of we need to do more of these conversations and start really painting this picture well and truly.
Yeah, awesome.
It's cool. Nice to hear your story, babe. Like freaking phenomenal. But yeah, Drew's who I've got the most teachings from so far. And as I said, that man goes in because he's an ex-bikie. And he'd be, I don't know, 6'2", and he's, strong man, man's man, proper man from the land, carpenter by trade, I think.
Yep.
And he just owns them. He uses the most profound language. Like he calls them everything.
Wow. Okay. Oh, I've never even heard of him. So. So this is what recently happened to him. So he's up for a no license charge December, I think it is. That's all it is. All it is. But it's because he teaches people. This is why they like to do these things. So they threw him straight to jail, no court, straight to jail. They moved him 3 times in that time. But when he was in there, he was teaching. He was helping people heal. He was helping do paperwork. Eventually he got word out to a solicitor who's a bikie mate. So he had to actually reach out to a friend because of what had happened, because he couldn't just chucked him in there. So he got word out, but because
his friend knows, Drew's Drew. Everyone knows Drew in Armidale. And so, yeah, got himself out. And now with what they've done and what they've gone about, and because he knows his shit, he's going to sue the living crap out of them. And he can lawfully.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. Like, he's going to take them to town for what they've done. I was like, yeah, I love talking to him. He makes me so amped, like learning it and hearing it from him. It's really cool. I've just got to study, babe, and that's the key. And I've got to turn off Facebook to do it. And I'm actually quite grateful that they're trying to roll in this, e-carrying crap with shutting us off from the mainstream. I'm actually, you know what? I need to, because I want to focus in on this and put my energy into this now. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
G'day, Rocco.
G'day. Can you? Is it working?
Yep.
Georgia. I just downloaded the app on my phone, but I usually have it on my computer. I haven't used it for a while, and then tonight the internet's not working. So
Yeah. How you doing?
yeah, I'm a bit drained tonight. I was all right during the day, but just racing around in the afternoon trying to get everything done.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
Yeah, pretty good. Just been trying to work out how to record all this. It's hard to get the audio.
Yeah, I have no idea about Discord.
I'm using my new mic too.
Okay.
Where are we? So something I did want to mention, which I think you slightly touched on, Torelli. Do not cross the bar. So when they call out your name, you stay in the public arena and don't cross the bar, because you're not licensed to cross the bar. And if you do, then you go into their jurisdiction. So I was told to stay in the public seating area and do your case from there. What are your thoughts on that?
For me, the one time I tried that, like I said, I got escorted out by the cops. They wouldn't hear the thing, and I want to practice. I want to trial and error things. Yeah. So the second time that I went back, like I said, instead of asking for, like, if you ask for permission to come aboard, then they can't do anything for you. So if you ask for permission to come aboard, they have to treat you as a guest. So they can't just lord it over you. But so the second time I went in, I said thank you for the invitation, and I stepped across the bar. And that's when I went up to the dock, and then that was the time that I queried jurisdiction, and then the judge stepped down and left the courtroom. So what I didn't know then, but I know now, well, like I said, I didn't know exactly what I'd done that had worked, but I have hopefully a bit more insight, is that this time I'm kind of really keen to learn. So I was going to do the kind of same thing and step up to the dock and just see. So also what I did this week just gone, I did an affidavit de facto quoronto. No, you were just saying don't do an affidavit, but when I did it, I didn't swear, I affirmed. So, that's, I guess it's a nuance, but like I said, I'm practicing, and I just, it's like learning a new sport. You can't sort of know until you get on the field and try. So
as long as it wasn't a sworn affidavit, you should be good there.
Yeah. So I've done that. So that's been sent out. Like I said, I sent the fee schedule and notice by registered mail earlier in the week. So there's a few things that I want to try out tomorrow, and I'll just have to wait and see what works and what doesn't. But I have heard of people, like men and women, not stepping over the bar. And a woman that I know that did that, I think she had to go back to court 6 or 8 times because they just kept adjourning it. And even after the 6 or 8 times, they still ended up ruling against her, finding, I think, again, driving unlicensed, ruled against her, and it was still on her corporate names record. And so she's been done, and she's got to go to court again next month as well. So stepping up to over the bar and up to the dock or not doing it, I think, again, it comes down to what Jess was saying about energy. It comes down to who you are, how you embody it. And I'm adventurous. I'm keen. I want to learn this stuff because I've got kids and grandkids, and if we don't change this stuff now, it's going to be worse for them. So I'm keen to find a really, even if it's by trial and error myself, I'm keen to find a way.
Yep. Yeah, well, I've been done for driving unlicensed and driving unregistered, driving uninsured, and another charge as well. My court case recently got adjourned till October. So yeah, I've got until October to work it all out. Last time I went into court, I did the I'm not going past the bar thing, and he was fine with it. He thought it was a bit weird, but he was fine with it. And we did it from the public arena area.
So what was the outcome? What was the outcome of that though then?
Well, unfortunately, that was a long time ago, and I had nowhere near the knowledge I have now. But I made a plea, so not supposed to make a plea.
Yeah, but I'm assuming you didn't know that back then.
Correct. Yeah. So that's that through that case under the water.
Look,
I got drowned in that one.
It's trial and error, right? Like, if it
Yeah,
was like first time, we wouldn't be here alive. I mean, there'd be no point to it. Yeah. So then this is the next time, like you have. So from then to now, you sort of haven't had any real experience in this. But it's because of this you're now getting into it. Is that it? Like.
Well, I kind of want to learn it all so I can help empower the people for free, because I'm sick of seeing all these groups out there that are charging out the arse, fucking teaching people their rights and freedoms. Shouldn't be capitalising off that shit.
I agree. I totally agree with you. But then you've also got to respect your own time and support yourself. Like it's a catch-22 situation. I want to do this for free as well, but then I've got to also honour the fact that I'm not in a position to give away all of my time because I've actually got to survive and look after kids. So, yeah, that's a challenging situation, that one, but I agree the information should be free for everybody. The information should be free for everybody. So,
I'm not saying go out and do everyone's paperwork for them. I'm saying, just empower people to be able to do their own paperwork.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. I completely agree. So the problem, like I said, is there's so many different people doing this now and their own different perspective. It's so hard to know what's accurate, what's correct. Yeah. So.
Well, have you got anything you want to add about court, Rocco?
I was going to say that if you were to cross the bar, you would ask them to. I think there was a way to say it, but the idea is that you cross the bar and you're on their shift with their permission, with all your rights, protective rights intact, so they can't.
So what was that word? Did you say protective rights?
With all your rights, or your protective right, because you didn't want them to arrest you, you don't want them to cause harm to you. So, and he's also got, or the judge or the magistrate still has fiduciary duty once you start invoking all that.
Yep. Well, that was part of that's part of the notices that I sent off already to the court and went in and filed for the matter is their fiduciary obligations and all of that sort of stuff. So that's why, yeah. And so I'm actually, as we're speaking, I've been working on like having a script in front of me, but it's all about saying that I'm retaining all of my rights as benefactor of the estate and all of those different little things. So I've got them there in front of me as prompts if I need to. But that's a good one. Sorry.
Keep in mind that you just want to be the sole beneficiary to it because there's many trustees and there's many co-beneficiaries, and they're claiming to be a beneficiary as well to the estate. And so you want to try and be the sole one to it, right?
That's awesome. Thank you. I didn't. Yeah, I actually I knew that, but it didn't even occur to me to say sole beneficiary. Beautiful, like benefactor. Thank you. That's amazing.
It's things like that why we need to have discussions like this.
Totally. Absolutely.
I wonder if you want to grant it to the court. So I know people that will say they grant their name to the court for a fee, right? But you're doing the whole thing is because it's a private express trust that you're playing with, that because they're using implied constructive rubbish, right?
Yeah.
So you're granting it. You're being the grantor, and you're then instructing them on their roles.
Yep.
That you are the sole beneficiary.
Yeah.
So if you're the sole beneficiary, then you can't be the sole grantor, can you? You have to be the co-grantor.
So the grantor, because you're granting it to the trust, so the court's the trust, right? And then you're stepping back from that role and you're then saying you, Mr. Judge, are the trustee, or the prosecutor's the trustee, right? Yep. And you're the sole beneficiary.
Yeah, so and retain. Yeah.
But you are you're still the executive of your estate, right?
So I did that last year at Ipswich. I did that last year, and I'd done that by legal, like notice, paperwork and registered and all that sort of stuff. And I was actually, you didn't hear it, but when I went to Ipswich and I had stepped up to the dock, things were going really well, but then this guy who come along as a witness actually decided to step up next to the dock next to me, and it just completely destroyed everything that I was doing. And that didn't work. So I'm keen to go back this time to try again to see what will work. But if I get to that, I will. But I've also filed an affidavit de facto co-oronto, which has got all of that stuff in it as well. So I'm just going to go along tomorrow and sort of dabble and see and have a play kind of thing. Really.
So you also want to enter it into the records, so your evidence and all that is to be recorded onto the records, because from what I've read on it, that each box is the four corner rules, right?
Yeah.
So each box is its own, so one party can't hear what you're saying because they're in another box.
Right.
So that's how they do it trickery as well.
Isn't that interesting? I knew it applied to paper, but I didn't realise it applied to in the actual courtroom.
Because it's a box. Each thing's a box. The witness stand is a box. The judge is sitting in a box. The typewriter guy's sitting in a box.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And I don't like how the judge and magistrate sit up above everything. That's wrong. They're the dead people. So what are they doing standing up? That's why I won't go. It's a satanic hall.
Yeah,
you never call them honour.
I met a guy who walked in and he sat on the desk on the dock. He actually stood up on it and then sat down on it. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
It's the satanic hall. It's against my beliefs now. So why am I going? Why would I want to go? I don't go to these rituals. So why would I go to one of them things? It's against my belief and the kingdom of life.
I hear you. I get it, but I'm curious. I'm keen to learn, and not going is all well and good, but when they trespass upon my body, commit assault, deprive me of my liberty, kidnap me, then hold me hostage and for ransom in their watch house, I'm going to defend my boundaries and my right to freedom. And so if I'm going to go there and dabble and have a play to see what will and won't work, what else have I got to do with this lifetime? And I've got kids and I've got other things to do, but we are eternal souls here on this land for a reason. Why not get into it and find a way that might work for others?
I agree.
That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at it as a game instead of playing football or hockey or whatever. I'm going to go to court and practice. That's how I'm looking at it. So, yeah.
I'll be back.
Back. I'm just going to the toilet if you guys want to discuss.
But yeah, I hear you about not going to court, but I mean,
Yeah, even though they force you to go, they do force you to go, which is wrong. But there is a maximum and a legal principle that going to court makes the argument correct, right? So the appearance of the body at the court makes their paperwork legit. So because it's a fiction, you now made that fiction
real.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why in my notes I actually say I'm here by special presentation, because appearance is like a ghost, you appear. So in my notes I've got that I'm a living woman, I'm not dead nor a lost infant at sea, that I'm the living woman and the benefactor naturalised onto the land, Terra Australis. So I've got a whole heap of different things that I just want to try.
Are you also aware that every court docket, or everything, should I say, every application is being securitized and monetized and it's a security bond?
Yes, and that's the thing is I was actually, before you came on, I said, because I've been doing this for like 4 years on and off, like whenever they force jurisdiction and stuff, is the next step. It's time to step into litigation and doing all that sort of stuff. I just haven't had the time or space before now. So I'm going tomorrow, and then that's what I'm going to do. I do know they securitize it. I was actually trying to figure out how to find the QSIP numbers tonight. I tried getting fidelity.com to load and it wouldn't. So that's all the stuff I need to learn from this point forward.
Yeah, well, like Australia's the ISIN one, but it does connect to the American one because it all goes over there as well.
So what was that one that you just said, ISIN? Is that an acronym?
That's the International Security Identity number. Identity. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, because I know that we've all got EINs as well, through the IRS and all that sort of stuff as well, which is something I was stepping into next week as well to look into. I'd never heard of an ISIN.
Yeah, it's
what organisation's that linked with?
Okay, so that's more Australia, but it is at the international one. So when you start going through, like I can show you where, if you had a home loan, I can show you how to find that. I can't find, I'm still trying to find, through America, I found that they call where they bond all the birth certificates is the vital statistics for revenue. Right?
Yes, yep, I've heard of that. I've looked at that, yep.
Yeah. From that, I found Australia statistics. New South Wales talks about so they pretty much say that all data, all the census, all the birth certificates and all that go to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, right? And then they have a diagram of it. I did share it on my Telegram channel on it. So, but from that, I still haven't yet gone, well, how do you find the numbers to that? Right, but it all goes through the, sorry?
Is this where where the mother falls pregnant and then the obstetrician and then the birth certificate, and then it sort of like all links around to all the different places that it goes to where it's monetized, and then when you die. Is that the diagram you're talking about? Or is it another one?
It might be that one.
Because I think I got that. I think I actually even downloaded the whole booklet of it a couple of weeks ago when I saw that. But I know that was here in Australia. Yeah, it was through the ABS, the Australian Bureau of Statistics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. So, yeah, look, that's all the stuff that I really want to step into after today. But when you said the ISIN here in Australia, you're saying, is that also through the ABS, or you're saying that's just for home loans and things like that?
So government bonds and all that go through that. So it's your RBN, the RBA, and because it gets floated to the stock exchange and the secondary bonds. So everything goes there, right?
Okay.
And it's ASCLEAR, I think it's called, ASCLEAR. AST, I think, clear, that monitor it, because you get the number, right? Because that's where you go. So an ID, what's it called? An IDA banking institution have to be regulated through that to allow them to take bonds and then to securitize it.
Yeah, right.
An ADI. Yeah, so.
ADI.
Yeah, an ADI bank. I'm trying to think what it's called. Depositing institution.
Yep,
So,
okay. Depositing institution, yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is most accounts and all that. But unfortunately, with all that, I haven't been able to figure out how to claim against it. There was another way, but that's setting up your own bonds and that, and that's going through the PPSR. But the Treasury, when I tried to do this early in the year, or say a few months before we come to the start of this year, sent emails out to have what I want to do. I want to set up a Treasury account, right? And I did get one reply saying, we'll look into it, we'll get back to you. And then when I followed up on it, they were like, no reply. Then I rang them up and they said, but we don't do that. And I said, but your legislation does, right? And they said, well, we don't know about it. It's probably like your ministers, right? So I rang the ministers, I rang up Jim Chambers' office, and they go, no, we don't know what that is. You probably have to talk to your local minister, right? Your federal minister, talk to them about it. It's like, so I got nowhere, right? But I do know a guy, he did his through America because he was living in America and England. So he's done it. And when he moved here to Queensland last year, he's got the Queensland Treasury doing it for him. But that's probably because he's liaisons with overseas Treasury. Okay.
So you're creating your own bonds, you said?
You create your own bond, buy the birth certificate, and then you create your own bonds off it, from it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And you're just charging that from that way. And you can also do I've tried sending my bonds to these departments and that, and they'll just ignore it.
So you're saying the birth certificate with pay to the order of
that kind of stuff. Because there is a prepaid and a private exemption account.
Right.
Prepaid exempt account. All right. So to discharge from the public and the private.
Interesting. Yeah, there's so much to learn.
It's a big minefield. It's a joke. It shouldn't be this hard to be free, So it's already telling you that, all that should be done. And that's where it's like, I've come to the stage. It's like, no, I'm not going to comply. I'm not doing any of that. I'm free. I don't need to do your rubbish because it's a trap to keep going and it's just draining your energy. You should not need to be digging through holes to be free.
I agree with you. But like I said, when you stop using their unlawful contracts and everything, just by chance they happen upon you and then force jurisdiction and assault you and stuff like that. There's steps that need to be taken. So
have you seen that the Four Corners ad going around about the people stand up for their rights and that kind of stuff?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like thinking, so they're showing videos of this, that a police officer smashes a window, and yet they're telling, oh, you can't, these people that stand up for their rights because they're causing problems, but they're showing videos of the police doing the wrong. So it's like, what? What? It makes no sense.
See, this is one of the biggest problems I feel like I've noticed with a lot of us that are standing up for our fundamental rights, is that we do stand for truth, we stand for honour, we care about people. We don't want to trespass upon other people and we don't want to be trespassed upon, but we have a different mindset than the people that are doing this. The cops are trained to do that, and their identity, their whole existence is tied with their ego and their identity of being police officers and doing what they're told to do. And if they don't do what they're told to do, they get in trouble. So if this whole it's a minefield, but the biggest thing, it's like the empath saying, I just wish the narcissist would stop being so narcissistic and leave me alone. It's never going to happen. And not until you stand up and say, you can't do this anymore, will they actually stop. So I hear you, and maybe some people have the energy where they just don't engage. Like I travelled for 2 years without license, without registration, no problem. But I knew energetically, I'd been told there was stuff that I still had to do and it was going to come back into my field. So that's where it is now. Like it's timing. And it's a spiritual journey of learning. And so I agree with you. If enough of us start clogging up the system, enough of us stop complying blindly, then, things are going to shift. But I don't ever see it going to be just super easy. Because if it was, it's like a rite of passage, if that makes sense. It's an initiation process coming into your own power and authenticity. It helps you refine who you are, what you stand for, and what you believe. There are other ways people do it. So I'm quite I'm quite passionate about all of this. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, these entities have gone too far. They're and it makes you question, like, as going back to that four corner thing, it's like, well, if people have to stand up against the system or the government or whatever it is, that means that they've gone too far. Otherwise, we wouldn't be standing up for it. And that's what they're not covering. Like, oh my gosh, can you not see? Why would people be telling you that's not right to do?
The problem is they get it dismissed instead of taking it higher and seeking remedy and a public record.
Yeah, well.
To be honest, I hear about the entities. Like I know that this has been over lifetimes. They have tried to suppress me and stop me from doing what I do and who I am, lifetimes. And I know that it doesn't work. And it's just it's like another school play. That year 7 school play's finished. Now we're going to move on to year 8 school play. It's a repetitive cycle. But also, if you think about it, there is no growth or evolution without pain and struggle. Like a plant seed, a seed in the ground doesn't germinate and become a seedling until it becomes so uncomfortable it splits open its shell and starts growing. And that's exactly what it is for us. People, unfortunately, will just stay as they are until they're pushed to a point where they go, something's got to change. I've got to do something else. And that's, I actually see this reality as being like kind of perfectly divinely implemented and orchestrated. Because for those that are ready to start challenging themselves in their own reality and stepping into this is what it's for. It's learning. And then those that aren't are still the ones that are doing the unlawful trespass, and the other ones that are still asleep is how I see it. So it's, I guess, about choosing freely where do you want to be on the journey.
Yeah, well, I suppose if they've done it before, because this happened in the revolution in the 1600s all the way up to the end of the 1700s, even though I've been looking into it and it looks like it was played that way. But then it didn't last long because it went straight into being captured again.
Yep.
But, you know, and based on what I was reading, which now makes me think, hang on, the revolution, especially in America, was about taxes, yet they still paying taxes, so it didn't do anything. So it was a play, it was a game.
Well, it's constant resetting. You think about how dramatically our world has changed just the past 5 years.
Oh, yeah,
Anybody,
it's
it's crazy, but you think like already there are people, in the 40s and 50s which are already compliant and, behaving themselves. So anyone in the new generation, within 2 generations, that nobody will know what we've been doing. Nobody will know the struggle that we went through because everybody that's in control and power are the ones that are writing the history books. That's why they're removing stuff from the school books, the textbooks, moving things from mainstream, taking movies down. That's because they're working up to, they don't even have to like decimate the world, but they're slowly changing the whole reality. So in a couple of generations, nobody will know any of this stuff. So it is the cycles and all that sort of stuff. And like you said, 1600, 1700, it's come back around again. Yeah, like, was it really that long ago? I don't know. That we only think it was that long ago because they've told us.
It's hard to say whether or not it seems as though they did add years or take years away or something. Right, but with just to say we're just going off the timeline, say from linear point from this point to this point, that it was 200 years ago. Now maybe it could have been maybe 100 years ago because most stuff is still, there's a lot of records about 1900, 1850, because when you look at it, there's a lot from about 1850. There's not so much records, but there is a trail of it prior to that. Right? So all our court records, all the parliament records and all that, there's a lot in the 1800s, and there's only little bits going from 1600s up to 1700. So it's like, well, maybe they did play with the timeline there. But yeah, I've been going down that track a bit, but more, I led myself down that way, going to the 1700s and that, for similar reasons, but on a different angle with it.
Yeah.
I was going through figuring out, because I figured out, hang on, we were supposed to have a godly government, so that's why I went backwards and started looking through all the laws, because they were more Christian based. Now they're not. Right?
Yep.
That led me through the 1700s, most of the things. So what I think happened in the revolution was more about getting away from God's kingdom, right? And that's why they just left the part in there on God's blessing, and I put the hand of the Bible to keep people happy that knew, right? So that was the first part. And then I did see the Tartaria stuff, but I've been doing a bit more search on it, and it looks like what happened there was Tartaria came in. So maybe the godly kingdom, and it might have also been linked to Macedonia as well, because I've been finding some stuff about Macedonia, sovereignty and kingdoms and books and stuff like that, which is a lot older than French books, right? And so what it looks like, they took over that kingdom and put Tartaria in, and then they got rid of Tartaria as a layer to think that was all there was there.
Yeah.
Let's go back to law. I want everyone to mention something that they've learned in the last few months that's one of the best advice they can give. I guess mine would be the fact that I've figured out that magistrates' courts don't recognise common law unless it's framed in equity. They only deal with statute and equity. And they try and only deal with statute, but if you frame equity, they can't ignore it. Which is the law of the air. Trust law. What about you, Rocco? What's one of the best things you've learned in the last 3 months?
I think I've probably gone more to it being in the ether side of stuff where their laws are invalid because they didn't create it. You can't, only the creator can create laws, because if their laws were superseding, they would have the ability to make me move my hands and that, and they don't. So we're all here in the same, all equal before that law, right? So they have no power at all. Their words are rubbish, so it means nothing because they're not the creator of law. They've got man-made laws, which is probably, you'll get close to your principles of equity and that. Some of them are man-made and some of them are based on biblical thing. But I guess it's the ether that I'm operating from, that's connected to the kingdom. Because he put everything's already pre-written to take hold of and start using to overtake these people. But it's already been won. The code's already there. They lost. All right. So we're just going through remembering things. And then once you start, so then they invoke punishments on themselves, right? Spiritually and physically and mentally, right? They start invoking the judgment of God. Look, well, I wouldn't be using God, but using that entity, that power of the kingdom on them. They judge themselves. Because once you're protected, they're not supposed to, it's, how can I say, the destiny is already written and they're interfering with it.
Yeah, it's important to stay in honour. What about you, Jess? What's the best thing you've learned in 3 months?
You want something? Hang on a sec, darling. Good girl, thank you. It's my little leaf's been hanging around, so that's why I've been really quiet, but it's been really good to listen to. Biggest thing that I found for myself is coming together physically. Like the lone wolf approach to me, I like it, but I think my patience is over, and the safest place to call home, I guess, would be when we just start finding each other locally, learning this together, and going in. So when one is going before this court, there's 20, 30 standing behind. So that we're all showing that we all know it.
I've noticed that the courts act a lot differently when there's 30, 20 people behind.
I just really want to, take it to them, because when you see it for what it is, and especially because of my background in Christianity, because I fucking grew up with that Bible like you have no idea. And the fact that I got taught the misuse of those words, and now knowing what those words really mean, like it's quite intriguing to think about. And we've all got it. There's, many variations of the Bible. The Bible's not just the Bible. There's all religious texts. It's there. And I find and I think like especially when, we start congregating and communicating and physically pulling together where we live, finding each other. And that's what I love about the FUCCP rally. That whole concept of finding each other locally. Because as getting paperwork doesn't matter, but this law and this truth and behind it all 100% does. And we've just got to bring in many different ideas and scripts and approach to it, because there is no one way. You have to find your own way with it. But there's a base knowledge that we need to learn and practice together physically. That's what I've put together for myself over the last few months, because I'm like, otherwise you just get plucked off, or it's a bit more of a, like what you guys have been sharing tonight. I'm like, far out, awesome work. But I'm like, yeah, we need like 100 of us behind you when you're in that court.
Yeah, definitely.
So that they go, fuck, they actually are getting this now. Oh, shit.
There is a number of people around the country, especially in New South Wales and Victoria, because as Ryan will tell you, because he's one of the groups I put in with Mona, she'll go around even with emails backing people up in that. And in New South Wales, New Sydney, and that they usually have a whole bunch of people going together. I'm not sure about here in Queensland anymore, can't remember. I suppose the TASA groups get together and they go support each other. And I was involved with the group around here, and but they were only going to, if their little groups had it, they weren't going in to help other people who didn't want to play the game, but they just didn't know how to. But anyway, that group that I was in sort of disappeared. So I don't really know. I know they're around. I just they don't post when they're doing their meetings anymore. But yeah, getting the support with emails and that, sending them to the courts and that, and seems to be working as well, because it also creates evidence of it as well, that other people have seen that evidence.
Yeah, it's definitely important that we all network together and start working together as groups. Especially, I definitely agree with Jess on local meetings. That's definitely a must.
Are you guys on Facebook at all? I know that Ryan is, but I'm not sure about, is it Rocco? And I'm not sure. Is your name Talari? Is that how you say it? Tara Lee?
Tara Lay. Yeah, I am on. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, because that's the whole concept behind Jodie's FUCCP. He's bringing together all of these ways of saying no to their jurisdiction, like, because that's what's on the back of the flyers. Just go get a big one. Excuse me, guys, my daughter. Bringing all these remedy groups together in said local areas so that we can start doing it. And it doesn't matter what version, because he's got Living Council, Warrior at Law, TASA, corruption whistleblower. I don't know. He's gone and created a heap of
mentions them all.
remedies to bring together so that we can start finding each other in our local towns and looking after each other, which is pretty cool.
Well, I think that'll spread a lot more awareness if we do have local meetings. With people speaking, like local seminars.
Yeah.
in my area, what took off more was the My Place group, which I was involved in that in the first year, helped set it up and all that. And the lady's still running it with it, but they will focus on now. They're not really focusing, when an issue comes up, they will, but they don't really focus on like what is happening at the moment with everyone else's issue to fight up against government. But I assume they will be probably going to that 31st August rally. But they'll be more just keeping with, if you know what the My Place group's about, the local one is more gone down the roads of healing and gardening stuff. So they do that weekly. I think they don't know why they didn't continue challenging and cancel and all that, but that was one of the main reasons why they started.
6 years from murder.
What about you, Taralay? What's the best thing you've learnt in the last 3 months?
Lots of little things, but to be honest, really what's come to me is, it was a bit of what Rocco and Jess said, but for me it's actually all about energy and the karma, to be honest. It's for me, it's actually not about holding them accountable or doing any of that now, because I know on the energetic levels that the karma that will come back to them is for them. So it's actually about me being my own authentic, genuine self. And, you know, as the saying, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the soul, so the universe, everything that I'm experiencing and going through in this reality is an expression of something that's going on within me internally. And so, you know, Jess was saying Drew going into court and doing his thing and stuff like that, it really is, and, you know, and when they put me in the watchtower and all that sort of stuff, it really was about how I held myself. And I can see the difference between my first couple of interactions with cops 4 years ago, how I was like pretty chill and I was sort of like just learning. Then I got a little bit more frustrated and upset with them because I got really indignant and thought, who the fuck are these people doing this shit? It's, you know, rubbish. And it's like I've come full circle again back to, you know what? It's not about them, letting go of that energy and, just learning to hold my own, because the energy I give out is what I'll get back. And, yeah, the equity stuff was cool, but I think it was more the energy, just really, really acknowledging how much, like I've always been big on energy, but really how much energy shifts the whole experience. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. You see some people like, I don't know if you've seen him. His name is Joseph. He goes by Freeman on YouTube. He absolutely goes off at the coppers. He swears his ass off at them. It's crazy. It's like, well, why? What's that going to do? It's not going to get you anywhere.
Doesn't it just incite them more and make them want to arrest him more and stuff like that? Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Well, because what's he's invoking, which is a biblical principle as well, right, is if you fight with the sword, you're going to die by the sword. Right? So that's what you're invoking.
There is something about the Bible that says you should learn how to use the sword, but you should always keep it sheathed.
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism. But I suppose you want to be skilled at it too, because you don't want to be swinging it around and you're not equipped to it and they just kind of take you out.
So don't you want to be a warrior in a garden rather than a gardener in a wall? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I guess we should wrap it up. We're coming up to an hour and a half.
Yeah, I've got to step out. I've got stuff to prepare for tomorrow. So thank you for hosting and
No
putting
worries.
me in to bring it together, and nice to meet you guys.
Yep.
Jess, Rocco.
Yes, same. Thank you.
Thanks for showing up, everyone.
Quiz.
Much
Bye.
love. Till next time.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.